Ho, ho, ho. MC Starman here, Martin Comtois, with my good friend Dayana Robinson in her very beautiful glasses. She's in the mood. Uh-huh. I guess those are your Mercury glasses, huh? We want to thank everybody for showing up and supporting our channel. We've been growing so much. It's so exciting. Thanks for all the new subscribers. Please share if you can. Please, if you haven't already joined the channel, please do so. And if you like, if you just, click the like button or even give us a heart or whatever, and we call that massaging the algorithms. It helps us grow. So, and also so many people have been sharing their love with us through comments, and that's really the only feedback we really get. And so we want to encourage that. Feels good, huh? Have you been watching all the comments?
I have been, as much as I've been finding time for. I will get a lapel mic one day.
Somebody and somebody said it's so nice that you respond to all of your comments, and so yes, I
Nice
do.
of you.
Well, it's very
It's
important.
special.
Feel like we're building a community, and every one of you that comments and joins our channel, I feel like you're part of our community. So thanks for the support. And this week we have a Christmas video for the
Cancer full moon.
this is solely Luna Inspiration with Dayana Robinson and Martin Comtois. Cancer full moon, that's December 26, 2023 at 4:30 p.m. And I called it connecting and containing the sacred.
Beautiful.
So when is the Cancer full moon? Oh, yes. Pick a card, any card.
All right, we'll start with the card today.
Yes.
This Cancer full moon.
And we could pick the card, but we like to synchronicity to just do the work for us of giving us some insight. Oh, Four of Swords. Kind of a somber card, huh? Four of Swords. And so the Four of Swords, and the man is dead. It's a coffin.
Because there's no air in the chart? I don't know.
Because there's no air in the chart, or it's really a good card for exhaustion, isn't it?
Right.
I think that a lot of us are exhausted, and so I think Quiet Christmas might be on the stars for lots of folks, huh?
Simpler Christmas, at least.
So let's look at the side. Let's look at here. Let's talk about the Cancer new moon. Cancer, Capricorn. So moon in Cancer. Let's move that guy over to the side there. Moon in Cancer, Capricorn, Sun. I wanted to, we've been putting one Jungian term a video. I have a new one, and we didn't write it down. Enantodromia.
Enantodromia.
Enantodromia. We'll write it down in the description, and we'll write down a definition too. And enantodromia is secretly you become that which you hate.
Watch yourself. Okay, got it.
Secretly, you become that which you hate. So it's like we see, like Israel and Hamas, the conflict. The more and more they resemble the attacks that they give on each other.
Yeah.
Right? So one massacres a bunch of people, the other massacres does another, and then they blame each other for killing each other. And so secretly you become that which you hate. And that's a very important point of Jung says that there's nothing so powerful than the withdrawal of projection. And so this Capricorn Cancer axis, that the opposite is always contained. Or like what Jung says, he says, in order for a truth to be absolutely true, the opposite also has to be true. And so then when we have a confrontation of opposite, that's what we have. We have a full moon. We have Cancer moon. I got to nurture myself. Capricorn, I got to make, my dent into the world. I got to give form to things. If Capricorn doesn't take into consideration Cancer, it becomes like the negative qualities of Cancer, it becomes that. And same thing the other way around, so the really controlling mother Cancer, the dark side of the moon in Cancer can become the dark side of Capricorn very easily. And so that's a full moon, and that has a lot of meaning. Did I make sense to you? An enantodromia?
Yeah, definitely. I see that a lot in our world too, and in myself, even where I've come through phases of really being frustrated or hating is a strong word, but at times hating a certain aspect of somebody, only to sit with it long enough, usually about 6 months, to see it myself and be like, God damn it. Okay, I have to re-witness and re-look at, and now I understand how this part of somebody develops, or how this part of myself can develop and come to form, even though it's something I might not like about myself or another.
And to be controversial a little bit, not that the Israel and Hamas is not controversial, but not controversial, but I think that we have to keep in mind that we accuse each other of what we're guilty of. That's in an antodromia. It's the same thing with the other thing that's really, the colonialism and the woke movement, and we become that which we hate, so that the anti-colonialism become completely colonial about it. They're trying to convince you of it. They become
colonial about it.
Yeah, they actually become colonial about it. And if you don't, they do the exact same thing what the colonists have done with with the people that they've colonized. And again, we live in a society, just like the Jews, and what happened to them, and it becomes a justification for their own abuse. We have to be very careful that we become that which we hate.
You mean that which we want to be?
We become that which we hate. We become just like what we say, and that's one of the greatest mysteries. So this confrontation of opposite in a full moon. Anyway, that was a bit of a transgression. Started the video on a very intense mode there. Let's see what is going on.
Christmas, I don't really see much other than intense potential. It's a lot. Let's dive in here. Connecting and containing the sacred. I really love and understand that a lot more after looking at the chart.
Well, there's a beautiful bowl shape. Ooh. So if you look at the sun and the moon and Jupiter and Saturn, you have a holy grail. Jupiter is my need to emancipate and become all that I want to become, and Saturn's the discipline that I need to get there. And so then that sextile, and then the opposition with the sun and the moon, and we see that it makes a Saturn, Jupiter, moon triangle, and a sun, Saturn, Jupiter triangle, with the cup shape. So that's in astrology, we call that a bowl shape or and if you have any planets on the other side of that bowl, so that would be like let's say that would be at the beginning of Libra. If you have it, then they would form a grand cross with these planets, or they would be the contain, what comes down into the bowl. So anything Virgo Libra there becomes really kind of diving into the bowl. So that's the sacred container. So, and we talked about the Cancer Capricorn axis and the mother and the father.
Yeah, it comes back to that. It's the family axis, right?
It's the family axis. Well, especially Moon in Cancer, huh? That's the mother with a capital M. And Capricorn is everything okay with my family, And so then it's a perfect full moon for Christmas, huh? And so we want to wish you guys a beautiful Christmas, full of mother father love. And it's when we don't have those things that we really miss them around this time, huh?
Yeah.
Being away from family.
I'm wishing all of those who maybe don't feel that mother father love, that the sun and the moon are kind of your celestial parents. So may that contain you if you need be.
Absolutely, absolutely. So then we have the bowl shape between Saturn and Jupiter and the moon and the sun. And then what else do we have? We have the Jupiter, Saturn, the sacred container. We talked about that. And Mercury retrograde in conjunction with Mars. So now we're having the second conjunction of Mercury and Mars in Sagittarius. And we're going to have a third one. And we had another one earlier in the fall. And so Mercury Mars conjunction, what does that feel like to you?
So for this new full moon, Mercury is going to be retrograde, coming back to meet Mars in Sagittarius. See that as very potentially very fiery. Mars in a fire sign is always pretty empowered, but then Mercury retrograde could lead to maybe some reflection about how you act in the world and how you want to put your energy forward with Mars. Also, how you want to expand and grow next. Because it's in the family, it's maybe how you're wanting to put your energy towards your family, or how you're wanting to help balance out the dynamics in your family, your needs in the family, your thoughts about your family, and how you perceive your understanding of your family.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Also, Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius. What does it all mean with Mars in conjunction? So a real energetic quest for meaning in one's life. So then asking the hard questions, asking the meaningful questions. And so, it's a fire sign. So one has to, be careful with fire signs. And an explosive combination of Mercury and Mars. So that's important. What else is going on? Yeah, the Venus and Scorpio thing and the triple loop that we have in the mutual reception, right? So
Start the sun and the full moon.
the base, yeah, well, the moon is exalted in Cancer, so it rules itself, so that's a very strong moon, but every other planet. So this is a technique that we use to find out the strength of each planet. It's called finding the final dispositor. So we start with Venus. Venus is in this kind of Scorpio, which is ruled by Mars. So we go to Mars. Mars is in Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is in Taurus, which is ruled by Venus. So then we have Venus, Mars, Jupiter in a loop. So if you go back to Venus, then you'll go to Mars, Mars to Jupiter, Jupiter to Venus, and you see every other planet ends up here. So if you look at Chiron in Aries, ruled by Mars, Jupiter, Venus. Pisces, we have Saturn and Neptune, ruled by Jupiter, ruled by Venus, Mars, Jupiter. Pluto is in Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, which is ruled by Jupiter, which is ruled by Venus, Mars, again, that loop. So the only planet that's not ruled by that, and this triple loop there, this loop of three planets that's ruling the chart as long as Venus is in Scorpio. And then when Venus goes into Sagittarius, we're going to have a mutual reception between Venus and Jupiter. So then these are very important planets right now, and Jupiter is involved in that bowl shape. So then what this technique helps us do is it helps us understand which planets are strongest in a particular chart, so that if we're doing a reading for someone, then we know who their ruling planets is. So then that really helps us in getting them to understand what their gifts are. And then we have a very strong moon and a very strong Venus, Mars, Jupiter.
What would you say about that, Martin? So Mars, Venus, Jupiter, when they're all in a loop together like that, how do you think that's going to flavor this Christmas holiday season in the full moon?
Okay, so then so we can start with any planets, so we're basically like doing storytelling. We're telling a myth. So Jupiter in Taurus. So Jupiter is my need to grow and to emancipate and to become what I want to become. In Taurus, it's a very in the body ambition, it's like Jupiter wants to be comfortable, wants to have money, wants to have comfort, wants to have beauty. So that's Jupiter in Taurus. Then we have Venus in Scorpio and the need for depth and understanding. And Venus in Scorpio is not really happy there. It's kind of a really intense, Venus going to hell. It feels like the myth of Persephone. And so then we have Venus in Scorpio, Jupiter in Taurus, and then Mars in Sagittarius. Why, and then Mars, Mercury in Sagittarius, so then that Mars, Jupiter need to know and communicate how I feel, Venus, about getting me the comfort and the stability that I need, Jupiter in Taurus. So whenever you look at a constellation, you're kind of telling a story like that.
It's a great breakdown.
And that kind of makes sense with the Four of Swords, doesn't it? It's like, and ever since Venus has been in Scorpio, and ever since that Mercury retrograde thing, it's been like, and we've talked about that in the last few videos, what's going on with the Pluto thing that's ahead. I think we're all anticipating some, and kind of nervous about 2024 and having to set some intention and to face, our need for meaning. I mean, and to engage with spirit so we can be guided.
Potrope.
Yes.
You've been watching your videos. That was on the last, and it sure is a helpful tool.
And this week was enantodromia.
Enantodromia.
So then the triad of transformation, we've been talking about it a lot, and we're going to prepare a video on the triad of transformation when Pluto comes into Aquarius, and you see Pluto coming into Aquarius and makes an angle to Neptune. and Uranus, and it's about to go out of orb for a little while, and it starts again in April. So we see that influence, and you see how it all, and then you see how Venus goes to Pluto, Venus goes to Uranus, and Venus goes to Neptune. So then that triad of transformation really bears down, bears down on Venus in Scorpio. So this tired Venus that we were talking about in the loop, that Venus in Scorpio is feeling the brunt of the triad of transformation, which really it's a transformation that's brewing in the collective, that's affecting us so personally that we're kind of exhausted about it all. And so then the Mercury Mars, what's the meaning of it all? And the Jupiter Taurus, I just want to feel safe, and I just want to feel comfortable, and I don't want to have to worry about money. And that's, because Venus is the goddess of fortune, right? So she's the one who controls the money. And so then that, that expresses really what it's about in terms of all our worries, isn't it?
Yeah. True.
True that.
Shall we jump into alchemical opportunities? Is there anything else that you'd like to say about this?
Yeah, we can go. I wanted to, flesh out in Antodromia a little more.
Please do.
So, a practical act, I become that which I hate. So actually, you are already that which you hate. Because if something, just like, a typical, or I hate my mother or I hate my father. I had that mantra for a long time that I hated my father, till the point where I realized that I was just like him. And that's the point, is that if we feel that we hate someone so much, or something, or some people, if we hate them, that's because secretly we're just like they are, and we hate ourselves for being, we hate them for being like us. Just imagine how many conflicts would go away. Like if you're in a relationship with someone and you're accusing them of something and you're mad at them for doing that, if you look at yourself, honestly, you realize that you're doing exactly what they're doing unconsciously. So that's called the withdrawal of projection. So it's to realize that the mote, the little speckle in the other person's eye, you can't read, you're focusing on it, but you got a beam in your own. It's like, and so then the withdrawal of projection and deceit, just like, we gave the example of the Hamas and the Israel conflict. Well, if if both parties were able to see that they're accusing the other of what they're guilty themselves, and they worked on themselves to be more integral in their behavior, then we could resolve the conflict. But if we always accuse the other of what we're guilty of, then we have an impasse.
We accuse the other period. There's this period of like, if you get triggered by another person, there's a lot, means there's a lot of, suddenly there's an energy buildup, and that energy is coming from somewhere. And so if there's something in me that I can't see in myself and you're triggering me about it, there's an energy buildup because there's an unintegrated part of my energy circuit that's like asking for attention in some way, shape, or form. So how do we like become more self-aware and responsible. And I guess that's, I mean, that's a great initiation of Capricorn season.
Well,
to
I think
really
that that's
some of
the
the
integrity
gifts.
that's being asked of in Saturn. You know,
Mhm.
when we talk about Saturn in Capricorn, but Saturn especially, you know, in facing our own darkness, is to become responsible for, because the darkness within me is actually the unlived part of myself. So what I see in another is my own shadow, and if I worked on my own shadow, then I would become the solution to what it is that I see in the other. You
Mhm.
know, like what we say about becoming the change that you want to see in the world, right? So becoming the change that you want to see in the world means I face my own shadow and I stop blaming for everybody for what I'm doing myself, and I straighten out and fly right. And if I do that, then I can become an example, and then we can resolve any conflict with that kind of attitude. And that's really something that we are being invited to do in this triad of transformation. I think that the meaning and the truth of the desperation of our time, it's just like if we refuse to see the problems in our society and blame others for those problems without realizing that I'm the one that's allowing this to happen in my own life, so then I can take responsibility and together we can bring change. But if we blame it on another, if we blame it on everything else, then we giving away our responsibility, which is, responsibility means the ability to respond. So then taking responsibility for what you see out there and owning your own shadow and integrating it, that's what, we looked at the picture of Saturn, and Saturn and the Ouroboros, the snake that eats its own tail. That's that confrontation of opposite, and that confrontation of opposite is always constellated in an opposition when we have two planets facing each other. They like to point the fingers at each other, but really the integration of both sides of the polarity makes for the wholeness that we also need.
Mhm. I love it. It's true. Compassion, I find, is one of the best ways to neutralize that energy. Compassion for yourself, compassion for the other, like really putting yourself in another person's shoes and trying to stretch your awareness of what it's like to be, even if it's something that is very uncomfortable, like being Hitler or being whatever you look at as the bad archetype, like what made it that way, or what is its purpose, what is its value. And that would be another great utilizing time for this Mercury retrograde conjunct Mars to really expand our awareness into understanding what it's like to be in another person's shoes, or understanding what it's like to be the dark one that's pulled Venus down to hell.
And that's beautiful. Okay, I think we're
Interesting.
ready for the alchemical dates.
All right. Where?
Louder.
So on December 22nd, Mercury is going to conjunct the Sun at 0 degrees Capricorn, just after Capricorn, or Sun has moved into Capricorn for the solstice. And then on Christmas Eve, December 24th, the Sun's going to sextile Saturn.
On the 26th, you have the Cancer full moon, and then Sun trines Jupiter. On the 27th, on the 28th, Mercury and Mars. So that's a big date to keep in mind, that Mercury Mars, and pay attention what that does for you. Then on 31st, Jupiter turns direct. And that's going to be exciting because now Jupiter is going to be racing towards Uranus. We're going to have that Jupiter Uranus conjunction coming up in the spring. And so we're going to start talking lots about that. And I think
Ooh, and something we forgot to put in there is Mercury goes direct right then too.
Mercury turns direct right there too on the 31st.
It might be
On
on the
the 1st.
30th.
Okay. And then 9th, Sun trine Uranus. And then the 11th, the Capricorn new moon. So keeping track of all of those, we put the dates and all the details that you see in these slides. We put them we put the details to all the slides on the description, of the video. So if you want any of the dates that we mentioned or any of the information that we mentioned, the only thing I haven't figured out how to put the chart on there yet. And I don't know if I will be able to, but
You have to do that as a comment photo.
hmm?
You might have to do it as a comment.
Photo,
Yeah.
I haven't seen any way of doing that, but well, if you know the answer, please share with us. Anyway, we're low tech and we're learning to do to deliver the material very organically. I don't know if you guys noticed, but we're trying to be real and one take, that's all. And we put it out and we're trying to be really human, and we get so many beautiful compliments from all of you that encourage us to keep going. So yes, we will keep going. And a very, very, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you and to your family, and to you as well, my dear Dayana. And a happy solstice. And it's all downhill from here. Or no, it's all, yeah. Oh no, we've gone to the lowest, and now we're gonna start seeing the sun climb up again. I think we're ready.
I'm ready.
Thanks for
So much love to you all. Happy New Year and happy solstice.
and you guys can write in the comment how much you like Dayana's glasses. I was highly skeptical myself. Over and out.
You have
We'll
fun.
see you next time.